Welcome to Rising in Grace. Today we reflect on Psalm 3, a prayer of King David during a time of distress and danger. In this psalm, David expresses his trust in God's protection and deliverance, even in the face of enemies and adversity. The psalm begins with David acknowledging the multitude of his enemies and their taunts against him. He describes his situation as a time of great trouble and fear. However, instead of succumbing to despair, David turns to God for help. In verses 3 and 4, David declares his confidence in God's faithfulness and ability to answer his prayers. He acknowledges that God is his shield, his glory, and the one who lifts up his head. This shows David's trust that God will protect him and give him victory over his enemies. David then recalls how God has answered his prayers in the past. In verse 5, he states that he was able to sleep peacefully because God sustained him. This serves as a reminder to David that God has been faithful in the past and will continue to be faithful in the future. In the latter part of the psalm, David expresses his assurance that God will deliver him from his enemies. He prays for God to arise and save him, to strike his enemies and break their teeth. This is a metaphorical expression of David's desire for God to defeat his enemies and render them powerless. The psalm concludes with David affirming his trust in God's deliverance. He declares that salvation belongs to the Lord and that God's blessing is upon his people. Overall, Psalm 3 is a powerful expression of trust in God's protection and deliverance, even in the midst of difficult circumstances. It serves as a reminder that we can turn to God in times of trouble and find hope and strength in His faithfulness. I hope this reminds you today that despite what you are going through, God is there for you. He will protect you and guide you. Wishing you a blessed day.